Hello guys, welcome back to another episode of r/IDontWorkHereLady, where you can find some real oblivious people. Hope you're all doing awesome today. Be sure to like and subscribe, and let's get right into it, friends. I drive a truck, so I work for you. So this happened today. I have a handful of clients in a very expensive but not gated neighborhood, and drive around in it every week for maintenance work. This situation actually occurred 2 blocks from the late Steve Jobs' house. For some context, I drive an unmarked newish model white Tundra with the lumber rack, so I obviously am driving a work truck. So I am in a hurry as always, trying to keep on schedule, and this younger Karen leaps out into the road with frantic eyes and her arms waving in the air. So I stop my truck, assuming I've just come across some terrible emergency situation. "Do you have room in your truck?" she asks. My truck bed is completely empty, but I suspect she means inside for passengers. I never clarified. What? Is everything okay?" I ask. At this point, I notice the young man with her won't look at me. "I need your help to move my couch to another house 2 blocks away," she said. I have to admit that as a friendly, helpful guy, I was tempted to be like, sure, let's knock it out. Then I remembered, frick no, this is bullcrap. I am busy. I don't know you. "It isn't that far," she said, now scowling. Well, glad to know everything is okay. Maybe stay out of the road. I am working right now, so I will be on my way. I leave her, jaw dropped, standing in the road. Perhaps not the wildest story, but it is still a shock what some people think is acceptable. No, I am really not a nurse, I promise. While I was a massage student, my school uniform consisted of light blue scrubs with the school's logo printed on the chest, the same ones that most doctors or nurses wear. I was also unfortunate enough to have to take the bus for a good chunk of a semester. One day as I was riding home after a draining day of finals, this large example of humanity strolls onto the bus, zeroes in on me, and beelines to sit next to me on an otherwise empty bus. Normally not an issue. I figure maybe this guy has something going on where he's missing some social cues. I can tell by his odor that bathing isn't a priority or concern. Good God, that smell still haunts me. I just turn my music up a bit and move to another seat. The guy moves to sit next to me again. This time he's got me blocked next to a window, so there's no escape. I console myself with the fact that it's only another 2 miles till my stop. The guy starts talking to me. I turn up the music another tiny bit. I'm trying my best to ignore the smells and sounds coming from next to me, but it's all a bit much. The guy notices I'm not paying any attention to him and taps me on the shoulder. I pull out an earbud and acknowledge him, and that's where my "I don't work here" lady starts. "Hey, it's against the law to ignore patients," said the smelly guy. "I'm not a doctor," I said. "Yes you are, you're in uniform." "No, this is my school uniform and I'm not a doctor." "Oh, you're a nurse then." "No, I'm not a doctor or a nurse. I'm just a person in a uniform going home. Have a nice day." "You need to check my sores. I know you're a doctor and you can't ignore patients." "No," I said. At this point, the guy lifts his shirt to expose what I can only guess are sores or infections in his mammoth fat rolls. "What's wrong with me? They itch and hurt," he said. "For the love of God, yes. You need to see someone about that," I told him. "See? You are a doctor. I knew it. I'm telling your boss you were mean to a patient." "No, does this look like a clinic? Did you have an appointment?" "No." "Now get the f*** away from me, you weirdo." "Don't be a b***. This is your job. Deal with it." I finally make a snap decision and dash for somewhere else by crawling over the seats in front of me to escape the smelly guy. The bus driver has calmly watched this all happen and asks me if I want off early as my stop is coming up. I take him up on the offer. While I'm walking to the exit, I hear smelly guy start to get up too, muttering about making sure that he sees where the doctor bitch goes. Bless the bus driver's heart, he did me an amazing favor that day. As I walked off the bus, I heard the driver tell him that if he tries to get off the bus here, he is calling the cops. I watched the bus pull away and was never so thankful for a long walk home. In the time I took the bus, I never heard that driver say much of anything to other passengers, let alone speak that way again to another person. Wild Karen in the pharmacy. Some relevant information. I'm 6'5" and 250 pounds. I don't have the temperament for retail. I work alone as a delivery driver taking pharmaceuticals from a central warehouse to several stores, all for the same blue CAD company. I'm easily bothered by the way customers treat pharmacy techs. Seriously, guys, it's not their fault your insurance didn't go through. Yelling won't change that. I've become fairly close with a lot of these techs, as they have to see me daily. Now to the incident. I walked into the store dragging my cart full of boxes. I'm wearing shorts and a t-shirt. As I come up to the counter, there's this woman screaming at the tech. This tech was under 20 years old and was backing up as far as she could. The pharmacist was giving a shot and couldn't leave for a minute. I was almost giddy at this, as I'd planned for weeks what I would do if this situation ever came up in front of me. I walked up to this pleasantly plump woman with her bleach blonde soccer mom haircut and oversized pink glasses. I said, "Excuse me, ma'am." "What?" she yelled, spinning on her heel and looking me dead in the, I wish I could say well-defined, but why lie, chest. Then she slowly looked up at my not at all handsome or smiling face. And I say, "Do you really want to be yelling at someone who can replace your insulin with sugar water?" "Excuse me?" she said, not quite as mean as before. I think what I said was sinking in. "Think about it, ma'am. This lady could, though I don't think she would, replace one of your pills with potassium cyanide, and no one could ever trace it." She stormed off. The tech thanked me and I made my delivery. Just as I was getting the last signature, the customer came storming back. She, of course, was dragging the store manager. "That's him. I demand you fire him," she said. "I can't. He doesn't really work for the store." I spent the rest of the week waiting for my boss to fire me. The next day, that pharmacy gave me a plate of some homemade brownies. I've spent the last 6 years waiting for a chance to use that line again, but so far, no luck. Not my job to clean your patient. This was a few years ago, but it is still very satisfying to think about it. Backstory. I was a 24-year-old guy working as a mental health technician at a county hospital in Arizona. I was specifically trained and certified to work with teens, youth, adults, and elderly who were a danger to themselves or others. This included those that were brought in by the police for being violent and needed one-on-one supervision 24 hours a day. It's generally very boring and easy because the patient is sedated and strapped to the bed. This story is about one of these guys. A patient had been brought into the ER by the police for whatever reason and had been extremely dangerous and violent with the police and hospital staff. I had been requested to go to their wing of the hospital. We normally only work in the mental health ward, and monitor and restrain if needed for the hospital staff. I was sitting in the corner of his room on my phone, probably playing games, when a nurse came in to check on him. The conversation went something like this. "I'm going to need you to do something more than sitting there in the corner on your phone," said the nurse. "Excuse me?" I ask. "I need you to clean him and empty his urine bag." "Nope, I'm not trained to do that." "Listen, I don't have time to deal with this. You're going to do this or I'm going to get the doctor." "Do you see CNA on my badge anywhere? It says MHT, Mental Health Tech. I am not certified to do a CNA's job. If I did clean him and change his urine bag but did something wrong, it would be your job and not mine. Go ahead, you can get the doctor and ask him yourself." "You have no right to tell me what your job is. I will have your job for this," said the nurse. She storms out of the room and looks for the doctor. After a few minutes, I can hear her voice just outside the room. I go just to the doorway. I'm still able to see my patient, to hear her and see the doctor. The nurse says to the doctor while pointing at me, "He is telling me that he won't do what I asked him just because he isn't a CNA." And I say to the doctor, "She is telling me I have to clean him and change his urine bag, but I told her that it would be her job if I did something wrong." And the doctor says to the nurse, "He's right. He has no responsibility, nor is he certified to do it. He is supposed to sit with him and watch him to keep you safe. Do your job and stop trying to find someone else to do your job." It turns out there was no CNA for her area that night. She was trying to push her work off on other people, and I was her last attempt until the doctor lost his patience. I'm not a paramedic, though. This happened today while I was at work, and I decided to create an account to let you guys know about it. I'm a cop and was mistaken for a paramedic. I have basic first aid and have a defib in my cruiser, but that's it. Often cops and paramedics get called to the same call, even if technically it's purely medical, and there's nothing job specific for me to do that the paramedics can't do. Often I'll hang out for a little while longer after it's been determined I'm not really needed, just in case the paramedics change their mind due to a patient getting violent or something. Of no, we have similar uniforms, but I have a red stripe down my pants, carry a gun, and have the word police in huge letters on my back and the front of my vest, while paramedics have paramedic written on them. If you're literate and no paramedics don't carry guns, you can tell the difference. Also, if a cop tells you that they're not a paramedic, that should be a strong hint too. Today I was on scene when a kid started having some sort of medical emergency where he couldn't breathe properly. Paramedics show up, lights and sirens, and get him into the back of their ambulance. They left the lights on as they're blocking a lane. Once they get the kid in the ambulance, I'm standing outside waiting for them to head off. My cruiser was parked a couple meters from where I was standing as well. A lady comes up to us and goes, "You need to turn off those lights." And I reply with, "They aren't my lights, they're paramedics. And they're a little busy right now, probably saving a life." The lady replies with, "Those lights can cause a seizure. How dare you put people in danger like that? That's so irresponsible." Well, I'm not a paramedic. I'm a cop, so they're not mine. I gesture to my vest, which says in huge white letters on navy blue, "Police." I looked around. The kid's family was standing at the other side of the ambulance, and we're basically the only other people there. A few people are in the area, but were paying no mind to us at all. And this lady herself was definitely not having a seizure, in my non-medically professional medical opinion. Look, the lights are on for a reason. It's for driver safety to alert drivers that there's an ambulance in the middle of the road. You aren't having a seizure and neither is anyone else, so if you don't mind, please move along. I hate crowding at scenes. Some of this kid's family was close by, and they did not need random strangers causing a commotion and adding more stress to an already stressful situation. "I cannot believe how rude you are," she yells back. "I'm going to complain to your boss." "You can definitely tell my boss I didn't turn off ambulance lights. My badge number is such and such. If the lights are pissing you off so much, you are welcome to leave. You're in a public area free for people to come and go in." Unbelievable. She stomped off after that, which was good. I haven't yet received that complaint, probably because I'm not a paramedic. I can't cover the shift, because I don't work for you. Disclaimers: on mobile, English is not my native language, not in the US. Well, this is kind of fresh off the press, since it happened about 3 hours ago. Background: I'm a registered nurse that used to work in a major hospital until last November, when they fired me. I had just finished my work for the day. I work deliveries now, when my phone rang. I was expecting a call, so I made the rookie mistake of not checking the phone number. "Hello?" I said. "Hello, I need you to cover the shift tonight," said the hospital manager. "What? We don't have night shifts in my current job." "Who is this?" I ask. "I'm the manager at Big Name Hospital. I need you to cover the night shift tonight." Finally knowing who was calling, I say, "How much?" "What?" they ask. "How much will you pay me to cover the shift?" "Well, you get double overtime on top of the normal payment, about €100 for 8 hours. "Since I don't work for the hospital, I want €350, I said. "No, you have a contract. You fired me last November. So if I come in to cover, I'll come as an independent contractor, and my price is €350. If you find the money, call me." And hang up. He hasn't called me yet. It's honestly pretty concerning that a hospital of all places would be so disorganized that they can't even keep track of who their employees are. Alright guys, that's all for today. Thank you so much for watching. As always, if you enjoyed, drop a like, and also make sure to subscribe if you haven't yet. So take care guys, I'll see you next time.